Sports Interaction for all your odds at sportsinteraction.com/SDPN. I'm Adam. He's Steve. There's Jesse on the end.
Woo!
Michael Bunting is a Carolina Hurricane. 3 years, $15 million, not per season. Just $15 million total. It's $5 million per season. Michael Bunting brings a lot to a team. And as much as some of what happened in the back half of his 2-year deal with the Leafs became a bit of a sideshow, this is an extremely useful player, a late bloomer who I think fits Carolina pretty darn well.
I mean, he fits any team pretty well because he's a good player.
60-point guy.
It didn't end great here, but he's going to get you 20 goals. I think you can be disappointed with anything under 45, 50 points. He's willing to hit. He's willing to fight. He's willing to be a pain in the ass. What I am fascinated to see is if his reputation follows him. And by reputation,
it won't.
Well, here, Carolina Hurricanes fans, you may know the story, but if you don't, here it is. Bunting, like over the last 2 years, has had one of the best penalty differentials in the NHL. He's going to take a lot. He's going to take a lot of penalties, but he's either going to drag you to the penalty box with him or he's going to drive you nuts and force you to take a stupid penalty. And then he might even be on the power play that ends up getting its revenge. As usual, happens here in Toronto, the valve shut off and referees treated him horribly. He handled it very, very, very poorly. It ended up getting him suspended.
Put him on the fourth line.
In the playoffs. Healthy scratched in
Yeah.
the playoffs. But he always seems to bounce back, right? He was in the lineup the night the Leafs won their first playoff series in 19 years. Every time he's been put on the fourth line, he scored. Doesn't kill penalties. Not a liability defensively. Kind of ho-hum. And he's certainly not going to be taxed with doing that in Carolina. So he might be a bigger offensive threat in Carolina than he was in Toronto because they have so many guys who fill that role already.
I'm so excited to see who I think is one of the best coaches in the National Hockey League, Rod Brind'Amour. I'm so excited to see him channel Michael Bunting's energy. I think he's going to be a wizard with that guy, and the energy that Bunting brings to the ice, I think Brind'Amour is going to be able to deploy it in the most perfect ways.
Yeah, and I think there's going to be Brind'Amour was a tough competitor and great sort of defensive player, but also scored a lot of points too in the dead puck era. He was like almost your like perfect second line center when he was playing. There's going to be a lot that I think Rod Brind'Amour is going to be able to teach Michael Bunting directly.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like there's a toughness, there's a wiriness, there's a pain in the ass part of Michael Bunting's game that I think Rod Brind'Amour is going to be able to relate to. And when you have Rod Brind'Amour as your coach, you know, Hall of Famer, Stanley Cup winner, that sort of thing, and he's telling you stuff, you're probably going to listen.
Yeah, and like with this deal, it seems like the Brett Pesce deal in Carolina is more inevitable now because of I don't know how they finagle the cap where they can just sign whoever they want, and it just always seems to work out. They're geniuses over there, but it looks like somebody's gonna have to go from the lineup just to fit in Bunting.
And Hurricanes fans, forgive my ignorance, but I'm just looking at the left wingers. Teuvo Teravainen, for sure, but then center left wing Jordan Staal played a lot of center.
Mm-hmm.
And then we got Jordan Martinook, who was waived last year. Stefan Nason is a free agent, and they brought in Michael Bunting. There was a very clear need for this player. Pacioretty's gone. You really needed some help on the left wing, and they got how many better left wingers are available this year?
I mean,
Top three available.
At one
least.
point, Daily Faceoff had Michael Bunting as the most appealing free agent available.
So did Frank Saravalli.
Well, Daily Faceoff.
Sorry, my bad.
So you know, I think at that point you kind of look at it and you go, well, if that is the case, then Carolina just got itself another winner. I think they've had a great day.
Well,
Orlov and Bunting,
yeah,
not bad.
And if he plays on your top line, I don't know. We've seen.
Oh yeah,
we've seen that he's capable of it.
And for Michael Bunting himself as a person, he had never made over $1 million per year in the National Hockey League. This is a dude who didn't peak until he was 42 and a rookie in the National Hockey League. Good for him getting this giant-ass contract. It's not a sad day for Toronto fans. It should be happy that Michael Bunting went out and he earned this contract. And it's a big one for a dude who's worked his way to this level for a long time.
I get the feeling Carolina's not done today, and I'm assuming that it's Brett Pesce, because that was the name that's thrown out there, but I feel like there's a trade coming. And maybe it's not today, maybe it's a couple days from now, but it feels like with all the cap space available today, Brett Pesce's the guy that's got to move.
This day could be fascinating, because what happened last year, there was all the signings, and then there was a lull, there was a break, nighttime hit, and Johnny Gaudreau just slapped the hockey world right in the face with a slobber knocker. I wonder if it's trades until something like signings until something like 5 o'clock, and then the trades start creeping in.
We'll see what happens.